Hey guys, it's Lucretia here with another video, and I'm coming probably not soon enough since YouTube keeps taking off my videos. I apologize for that last video. Apparently they don't want you to know anything that's of truth, and therefore they removed the video. And I'm so glad that some people was able to catch that video. I'm going to put a link at the bottom of my description here, and the video is on Rumble, and if you want to view that video, I'll give you the link so you can click on it. So what is going on with 12/21/2020? So before I hit on that, I just want to say that I'm seeing a lot of Christian videos, Christian preachers speaking about this and saying, oh, New Age people, they're lost, and it's all false prophets and this and that. And so I'm going to break things down for you guys as far as what you're seeing and what you're hearing, and how there are some people asleep or so superficially in the word but not spiritually in the word that they're getting misconstrued with things. So this video is much needed. I've been wanting to get it out there. I'm going to start this video straight up with a verse from the Bible, okay? It's Ephesians 5:14. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Okay? This is an awakening period. As I've said in numerous videos, this is an awakening period. It's time for people to separate from the masses. So right now, we really need to separate. Choose your God and live by that God, because you can't live from both gods. And I'm talking about the devil. The devil thinks he's God, and he roams the earth, and he has made himself God of the earth. It's trickery. When the Most High God and Jesus are in heaven, they're the God and the King of the kingdom of heaven. And so therefore, we have to really discern right now. And that's what this awakening period is about. So a guy I follow, he's great, by the way. I'm not going to throw his name on this video, but he's a Christian preacher, pastor. I would even say pastor. He's just a Christian, spiritually awoke individual. And he kind of really was dogging this New Age movement. And I'm not in agreement with the New Age movement. I know there's a lot of witchcraft in it. However, making fun of people and acting a fool about it and saying that, he's like, yeah, people were saying that you're going to levitate, you're going to go right into a new earth, you're going to manifest a 5-dimensional reality. If you rewatch the videos that I did in this regard, you could see where I've really homed in on that, because no, things doesn't seem or appear that you have died or you went somewhere else, and not everybody is going to see the reality you see, okay? Another thing is you really have to understand that it's an awakening period. It's a time. That's why you may be realizing that the food you eat can't be continued, that you're going to have to grow some natural, godlike foods, and really prepare for the separation from you and the false gods. And that's what this awakening is about. It's, a lot of people are lost. A lot of people doesn't quite get it. They're already gone. They're already in their own emotions to where they're miserable, unhappy, sad. Some things influence their minds. An external event has influenced them to not be able to wake up. So the devil already has them, people, okay? But then you have these spiritual people like myself, even, spiritual people that are promoting and teaching how to raise your consciousness and raise your vibration, as they call it. All these things. This is necessary to go to heaven. So even if the world doesn't end tomorrow, it's necessary to go to heaven. You can't keep reliving wrong. And I do believe in reincarnation because I see the realms. And I'm going to get into all this. But the thing is you really have to separate from what you thought was okay, and now you're realizing it's wrong, and you have to make life changes from it. So this video is going to cover the supposed hoax of 12/21/2020. It's going to cover Christian perspective, the New Age perspective. It's going to cover the fallen, the deceived, the deception, and it's going to cover the truth. So hit that thumbs up button and like, and yeah, that would be helpful. So when I say Satan already has the people that are in illusion, they do. He does, because they're in false emotion. Now, the people that are awaking in God's spirit and rising, it's like he's still trying to intervene on that. So new level, new devil, I've said that before. So it's like the more knowledge that pours into you, the more that you start to see, Satan's going to try to trick you. And that's what's happening to a lot of people that are finding, like, raising their elevation, raising their mind frequency. They're finding that, sometimes Satan will come in on that. And even I was practicing, maybe I would say 6 months ago, I was practicing in yoga. And yoga really opened up a false god within me. And when you do stuff like that, um, as I've told you before, you're not of yourself. The body houses many members. And so when you do something that even makes you feel good, you're letting in a god, a fake god. So yeah, it feels good. You're on top of the world. You're feeling like you can manifest anything. You're getting all this knowledge, but at the same time, you're worshiping a false idol. And when that happens, you get possessed with the knowledge of this false idol, and you guys become one. And becoming one, the same mind, and it just further leads to destruction. So make sure that you are homing in correctly. Now, if this is your practice and you feel good with it, I'm not here to judge that. That's not what this channel is about. I'm awoke. I can see a lot. And, like Christians judge me because I can see dead people. I mean, I could see realms. I could travel in time. So I'm not going to sit here and degrade somebody. I'm going to just tell you that this is how I look at it in my perspective, and I believe that the only way to heaven is through our Lord Jesus Christ and Savior, who came to save us. But I'm going to get into that. Here we go. So if 2020 taught me anything, right off the bat, it taught me the illusion that people are under, and even the most spiritual advanced people are coming to head and really opinionated on their own beliefs. And that's still separation and division. I think that we need to realize that we're all working for a better good here. And I want to go to another Bible verse here. It's John 3:16 in the King James Version. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So I have a question for you. Christians, okay, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them don't even believe in spirits and reincarnation, okay? And that, you'll see a lot of the times when somebody dies, they're like, oh, well, he's in a better place, when that person was not a good person on earth, and how in the heck could he be in a better place? That's just like something we've developed to cope with our losses, and that's not how that works, and the Christians, the Christian community sometimes will not explain things to its fullest extent. And when I'm reading this verse, I'm going to tell you how I understand this and interpret this verse. For God so loved the world, okay, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not perish. Okay, so he sent Jesus down here. And he's like, okay, if you can make it through this world and not sin and be holy and come home to me unfazed by this world, then that tells me that these people still have hope, and that's how I'm looking at that. And if it wasn't for Jesus being sent, God would have destructed the earth years ago. Years ago. Okay, so Jesus is my king. He is my God. And through him, I get to his Father, which is God. And so without him, I'm not feeling like I will get to heaven. I think that's a narrow road, that you have to take. So a lot of people on this channel doesn't have the same beliefs as that, but I'm putting it out there what I believe, and I'm giving you the difference, and I'm explaining things that are really important in a time right now for you to understand. Now, what Christians aren't understanding with this is when it says, believeth in him, you shall not perish. It does not say you're going to get the king of heaven, the kingdom of heaven. It does not once in here in this passage say, if you believe in him, you go to heaven. Well, that's just something that people have adopted to believe, and that's just a weakness in the mind. It's not okay. It says, you shall not perish but have everlasting life if you believe in him. If you believe in Jesus and what he came here to do, then you're going to get to live again in these heavenly realms, these realms under heaven. Okay, it does not once say you're going to die and go to heaven and live forever with God. No, it says you shall not perish. Souls can perish. I astral travel. I have a weapon. I have a sword. It was given to me by God. And I know that I can kill demons with it, and their soul cease to exist. And so when I come to you, I'm coming on a deep spiritual knowledge, a level that isn't superficial, like this Bible's read by many Christians, okay? So I just wanted to point that out there. Okay, I'm going to hit on the groups of people. When I said the weakened, the fallen, the lost in deception, I'm talking about the ones that can't go within their inner selves and rise their own mind frame. Because your perception of reality is exactly what controls your life. And if you have faith in yourself, if you love yourself, if you don't let outside influences determine the way you feel, then you're able to rise. And that's necessary to get to heaven. It's also necessary to grow in this world. In a video that was recently removed, like I said, I'm going to put it on, I'm going to tag it on this video so you guys can watch it on Rumble. But I covered that. I covered the fact that some people aren't going to see the same thing you see. So when it's talking, the New Age is talking about 1221 and consciousness rising and elevation, my conscious has rised. And as soon as that time passed, I'm like getting so much more information that I didn't even know, that I didn't understand until now. And it's continually to come. Like it's continuing to come in massive amounts, in like a lot to take in. Okay. And I'm like, wow, I've done this wrong. Wow, I need to fix this. And it's like, oh, all this stuff. And I guess what I'm saying is that some people won't wake up to that. There's people that use drugs to cope with how they feel, with things that's happened to them in their lives. They have to have an escape, or they go within themselves and they're really tore up about it. They can't pretty much move forward until they let go of these mental and emotional baggages, and it's unfortunate. But a lot of people, and I want to make it clear that like the God didn't do this. Like our God, the Most High God, did not do this to you. Whatever's happened in life is a circumstance that's resulted from this illusionary purgatory in which we live. And it's not easy. I understand that. And the thing is you really have to understand that Satan is the one you should be mad at. So when somebody says God wouldn't allow diseases and illnesses and sicknesses if he was a good God. No, God came so that you wouldn't go to hell. Jesus came here so that the world would not self-destruct, or God would ruin it. You know what I'm saying? He came so we could have everlasting life, not perish and experience until we learned. And that's why he said, forgive them, Father, if they not know what they do. Not even I always understand the things I've done until I learn later. And it takes learning and going through something to really understand. You can't just tell somebody. It's like you never listened to your parents when they told you not to do something that could hurt you, because you have to learn it and experience it yourself. So if anything, this conjunction has really made me aware of, like right off the bat, that God's chosen people, the most spiritual advanced, and the ones who are seeing the destruction, and we're seeing the government for what they are, and the ones that really understand what emotions are in the false illusionary realm of things. I see Satan really like working hard to destroy God's word. Like he's kind of tricking people in order to be like, well, you're God, you're able to do things. Once you realize this illusionary world is illusionary, just what I said, and it's just a place for learning and growing, then he tries to slide something in there that's going to distract you. So if it isn't somebody hurting you or somebody harming you mentally or physically, then you have basically like false gods coming in and telling you this is the way, okay? Distracting you from the narrow pathway it is to get to Jesus in heaven. So Satan has God's blueprint. Satan has it. So he was an archangel in heaven and thrown out because he wanted to be God. And so he has the blueprint. And so this knowledge that we are learning as spiritual, people, we are learning knowledge incredibly quickly and understanding, and able to put it with experience and understanding what's happening. And my experience comes with astral traveling. Again, people that don't watch this, I was born with the ability. I don't dabble. I've never tried to do any kind of witchcraft. It was natural, probably a curse, but it's led me to higher places. And I understand through that like God has certain ways, it's just basic knowledge that's on a higher level. And once you know that, you can manipulate that for self-gain. And that's what people feel like they are, okay to do. And nothing's okay to do without seeking God first, because you will be led astray. You will let demons in and false gods if you don't go to the Most High God through Jesus Christ. So what I want to say about the New Age religion and New Age movement is that they really lead themselves astray and lead other people astray by not going through the Most High God through Jesus Christ. And doing that, they're doing a lot of astrology. They're doing a lot of metaphysical sciences. They're working on realms, heavenly realms. Okay, when the Bible speaks to heavenly realms, it's talking about the levels under heaven. So, yes, I see them too because I soul travel. I'm able to see them. That's how I can tell you what's going to happen, or even though I won't, I can foresee things, events. I can go even in the past and see things. I can see really deep. I can see so deep inside people as far as emotional, what demons they're carrying, where they're going wrong. And I've learned that you could talk to your blue in the face, but they have to learn through themselves, and they have to want to hear you and want to learn. They have to want to change and want something better for their lives. But I've found that New Age people, New Age belief systems are really focusing on the levels under heaven. That's why the heavenly realms, they're talking about the universal realms, the realms of the universe. They're praying to the universe and thanking the universe. That's not what we should do. I mean, this is a heavenly realm in which we're in now, and as you could see, the prince of darkness rules the heavenly realms. So rather it be this one or even a higher fifth dimensional one, we're not in heaven until seven dimensions. Seven dimensions. Okay, I've space traveled. I know exactly where it's at. And so the thing is that none of these, yeah, you get better, you're making promotions, but don't think for a second that you're going to get anywhere by praying just to the universe or worshiping the sun goddess or the moon goddess. And yeah, I look to the sun and especially the moon for signs. And I understand what that means is the moon comes, and I feel cleansed. I'm releasing a lot of things when the moon comes, and I know that comes natural. That release comes natural, and I can correlate my feelings to the cycles. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there and read astrology. It doesn't mean that I believe in everything numerology is going to tell you. It's lining up because it's the realms under heaven. Okay, it's lining up as truth because a lot of truth comes from it, it seems. But we should not be seeking that. We should be praying to God. We should be praying through Jesus, because that's how we don't get led astray. And a lot of people that are spiritually awoke, they stop. There's a lot of partial truths, but they're not going the highest. And yeah, I could see why people get this knowledge and they kind of get stuck in it, because it's like, I astral travel as a gift. As a child, my whole life, I've been able to see things other people can't see. So if I was to superficially read that Bible or listen to my Christian preacher who tells me that I have sin because of it, you know how much sin the preacher has? I mean, there's nobody's born without sin. And I know what I see, and nobody could take that from me. And so discerning throughout my life has been hard because I've been judged for what I see and know from Christians. And the reason why is the Bible really looks down on fortune tellers, tarot card readers. It looks down on magical arts. All these things it's looking down on as blasphemy. And the reason why is, if you come to me asking me about your future or asking me anything about a deceased loved one, that is coming to me like I am God. And that's blasphemy. That's an abomination to God, because he says, why aren't you coming to me to ask me? Because I can show you. And once you get spiritually advanced and reach these levels, and I know I've talked about raising your realms, I know it's necessary for you to get out of this 3D purgatory and raise up. You got 4D, 5D, and I believe in this because I see it, and 6D. And you got to get this consciousness. You can't make it to 6D or 5D if your consciousness isn't able to coexist with that realm of reality. And like I said in another video, you can do that alive. Movie stars and those type of people, very well established people, they're living 5D already, and they're alive. And so they're not around this 3D purgatory. They're not around somebody in poverty. They're trying to help those people or uplift them. And even at the 5D, you have bad, you have good people that are successful, that's helping for the good. And then you got the negative people that are really trying to steal power. They know how to get where they're at, but they don't want you there because they want to control you. And that's where we get into the government. So this stuff's very, very deep. And for me to sit here and hear Christians dog the New Age for seeing or calling them false prophets is very disturbing to me. Very, very disturbing to me. Because they are not any better to be judging. They should be teaching. Those that don't fall along the lines of their teaching, then they should let go. Because God or Jesus was sent here. He showed me through experience that I can't save everyone. There was a soul on the other side that I tried to help. He had committed suicide. He was so far gone that he was like, take whatever you want. I have nothing else to lose. I said I carry a weapon, and he was intimidated by that. The thing is I wouldn't have ever hurt him. All I'm trying to tell him is go to the Most High, pray to God. I can't get him to. And when he was alive, and I did a video on this, but the YouTube took it down. But when he was alive, he walked this earth on this 3D messed up mind frame. He was an illusion, and that's why he killed himself. So when he died, he carried on that same mind frame. It isn't like he's seen God. He never seen Jesus come because he never had him in his heart to begin with. And Jesus showed me in that experience that you got to separate yourself from that. So no, not everybody's going to believe in your words, and not everybody's actually, people will try to dissect your words and break them down and dismantle them. That's not what we're here to do. And as a Christian, I love all of you guys, and I want you guys to rise no matter how you have to. I will teach my way, but Jesus allowed everybody to have many different pathways, and as long as you get to where you need to be, that's what I want for you. And that's why I do these channels. And that's why I do these videos. So yeah. And I haven't really been promoting my videos. I have about 1,500 subs on here, and I really don't promote these anywhere. I don't. The thing is this isn't for money for me. Okay, this is because I want you guys that follow, and you look up a subtitle or you look up something and you find one of my videos. That's because it's meant to be found. And I do want to ask you to hit the like and thumbs up button while I'm talking. I had never say that in any of my videos, but yeah, the more that you like, the more that people will be aware of this video. And I want to help more people, and I want to make sure that they have these outreaches that they can get to. If I could help just one person, then my job's, I'm feeling good about it. So all right, I'm going to read a Bible verse from Colossians, and I don't even know how to say that word, but it's Colossians 2:8. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Jesus Christ. So that's the fine line, and that's, I'm treading on the side of God and Jesus Christ. I'm not trying to get lost in any spiritual New Age beliefs and doctrines. I feel like those are false prophets as well, but they're not purposely being false prophets. And if it takes you to be opened up and expanded to learn, then so be it. As long as you find the right pathway and the narrow way to heaven, that's all I want from you guys. And so I want to really spread light on this according to the elemental part. So according to the elemental spirits of the world. All right, elemental spirits. What are elemental? All right, so elemental, because I have it broke down right here for you guys. Elemental is just meaning primary or basic. So primary or basic, and the definition of a spirit is the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat or emotions and character. It's the soul. So spirit is the soul, it's the character of the person. And elemental is the basics of a person. So let's go back to this. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition. Human tradition means earthly realm traditions. All right? Speaking of like Christmas, speaking of like rituals, speaking of things that you think are holy, that may not be. They could be pagan. According to the elemental spirits of the world. So the basic souls of people is the elemental spirits of the world. The basic souls. Make sure that you are not in deceit by their philosophies, by their rules and regulations, by their beliefs, because it's leading you astray is what this passage is telling you. If it's not according to Jesus Christ. A lot of people really learn the things from the wrong people, and it should always be in accordance to the word. And for some Christians to argue with me about there's no demons and no realms and this and that, I can argue and actually use the word in my defense. Because if you are reading the word correctly, you would understand that we only don't perish because of Jesus, but doesn't mean that we're going straight to heaven. And when it talks about heavenly realms, those are the realms under heaven. So I can really dissect this and see it for what it's meant to be read as. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not dogging Christians and I'm not even dogging New Age. I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. I think Christians should teach everything that's true, not just rules and regulations. You know, Christians should really understand it. If this ain't enough to wake you up just by those two verses that I broke down and to show you that there are spirits amongst us, then there's a problem. And you shouldn't be arrogant in the fact that you think you know everything by this word when you don't understand the word. And so don't be judging people lest you be judged. I'm going to give you another Bible verse, Matthew 7, and this is 21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Okay? This goes back to what I just told you about the parish part. You know, you have to realize not everybody's going to go to the kingdom of heaven. It says, but the ones who does the will of my Father who is in heaven, on that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and do many works, many mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. This is Matthew 7, 21 through 23. So I know I sound like I'm being harsh on Christians and harsh on New Age, and I'm not like here to act better than anyone. I'm here through learning and experience, and I'm trying to tell you that this clearly, to me, is in regards to those who are awoke, who are in the wrong leadership of a false god and deity or deity. I'm sorry, but you know, it's speaking about, you know, it'd be like if somebody died who, you know, I'm just going to give an example. If I was a spiritual person that didn't channel through Jesus Christ, and if I felt that I was equal to him, or if I felt that I can perform miracles just as he has, because believe it or not, this is what people are believing. They believe that God consciousness is everything, and that you could go to God, and that Jesus is just a religion that separates you from your own power, and that you have the power to manifest and to create anything. This is where that fine line trickery comes in of being led astray. I'm going to read this again, Matthew 7, 21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the ones who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day many people will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and do mighty, mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Okay? If Jesus doesn't know you, you're not going to know the Father. So don't be led astray and tricked in this. It really takes wisdom to discern, and I want to hit another Bible quote here because I'm going straight from the book. I'm not just going to sit here and talk. Like, I'm not going to let my words be misconstrued, and I'm not going to be considered as a false prophet like these Christians are doing to these New Agers, and I'm not going to be considered New Age either. So this is making this video. I'm making this video to make it clear my standings and why I stand that way. All right, so John 10:10. The thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Okay? So, you know, when Jesus roamed the earth, or when Jesus lived on the earth, the devil roamed the earth at the same time. And he even tried to lead Jesus astray. Like I said in another video, he told Jesus in the wilderness when Jesus was fasting for 40 days, the devil approached him in the wilderness and said, if God is really your Father and you're really who you say you are, jump off this mountain. Jump off this mountain because angels are going to save you if that's your God. So literally the devil was trying to talk Jesus into committing suicide just to prove a point. You know, don't fall in deception. The foods we're eating is awful. I'm getting ready to do a video on this because I've really just, wow, came across so much. And I don't mean studied it either. It was given to me in knowledge, spiritual knowledge from God. And I have so much to say about all of that. And I'm actually not even going to get off topic on this. But that's coming next because the devil is trying to trick us in every aspect of our lives. As far as our food, we're eating food sacrificed by idols all the time. Because you might not be worshiping pagan or in child sacrificing, but in all of our artificial flavors, they're putting in GMOs that are harvested. They made a kidney from a baby. The tissue, they took it, they made an identical copy through chemical processes and GMOs. It's in all of our added flavors. It's in all of our artificial flavors. Therefore, We are eating food from our idolatries, and this is in the Bible. We're so against that, and you could think that you're not, but you're being tricked because you're eating the food out of the wrong hand. And so right now, the strongest thing I'm getting is separate. And I've said that in another video, separate. You can't have one God and serve another. We didn't realize what we were doing. This is the awakening. So for those that say nothing happened, think again, because on 12/21 things have happened. The veil's being lifted more and more, and the goal is that the veil be lifted so that so many people can rise in elevation and mindset and consciousness so that they can get to heaven, because time's near. God's coming, because these people are tricking you in your foods, they're tricking you in these vaccinations, the whole thing that I can't say the word right now, but as far as the illnesses going on, that is the same thing as what's in the needle that they're pumping. And I can't even say it, or my video is going to be taken down, because at this point, they don't want you guys awakening up. And you're going to waken up. If you have any spiritual soul in you whatsoever, you have to understand that you're going to be learning new knowledge. This is going to pump into you. Okay? I'm going to read another Bible verse here. 1 Corinthians 12 through 13. That's verse 12 through 13 on 1 Corinthians 12. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body are as one, so it is with Christ. Okay? This is saying that if you don't have the Holy Spirit in you and Jesus Christ, then just as you are one with God when you have the Holy Spirit in you, if you don't have the Holy Spirit, then what are you housing? What members are within you? So when I say people are literally really have demons in them, they have demon attachments, demon possessions, everybody. I mean, it's just not like an exorcism thing. It's like everybody's carrying another member, is another mindset, another deity. If you don't have God and Jesus, then you are led astray from these false gods and demons. They're all demons. So what's in your mind is, if you have anger, sadness, depression, all these things, that's trickery. Okay? If you have, and that's the demons, that's a demon possession. And see, that's why when Jesus says forgive people, there's a reason, because if you don't forgive somebody, now you're housing that demon within you, because you're allowing it to get in you and take you from the present moment. And the present is a gift. That's why it's called present. If you live in the present moment, it's because you're aware and you're giving this gift of life. You're not dead. You're not killed. The earth's still going because Jesus came. Jesus don't want us to judge people, because the thing is all of us, even as a child, I can remember really being sad or mad or angry. It takes learning and growth to understand how to control emotions and exactly what those are. And so some people that are really hurt, they got a cold heart, and when your heart's cold and bitter, then they harm other people, either sometimes knowingly and sometimes not. They become selfish, they become bitter, they become too absorbed in their own self-pity. They need stuff from you that you never could fulfill for them, and it's a non-stop thing there. It's still demons. It's all demons. You cannot judge somebody. If somebody comes out and is committing all this crime, what made them commit that? Something's happened to them to strip them from God. And that situation or life experience that has separated them from God has continued on this downward spiral. So God's telling us, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy our people, and that's what's happening under this false illusion. So when the new age people or spiritual people are telling you to rise in consciousness and really own yourself, love yourself, give yourself what you're worth, there's reasons, and this is because you don't want to be lost in deception. I have another Bible verse here. Luke 6:37. So Luke 6:37. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Okay? Do not judge, because if you judge somebody, God's going to judge you for everything that you fell astray to. And I tell you something, as far as everything that you do in life, I guarantee you all of us are in deception some point. You don't want to be judged for that. You don't want to be judged for eating foods you never knew was bad for you. For worshiping a God you didn't realize you were worshiping the wrong one. For having hardships or hard times or having anger, all this stuff is stuff you've had too. And it takes growing and learning. And that's why we don't perish. That's why if we believe in him, we have everlasting life for more experience. And the really sad part right now is the devil has gotten so much control of this earth that he is to the point where he's stripping people of self will. That's what's here. That's what's amongst us. And God's here to collect his people. Because the Bible says, even like, I want to talk about this real quick when it says the new earth. Okay, the new age belief systems are like it's going to be a new earth, a new reality. They're talking about levels under heaven. Okay, yeah, I can manifest and I can create through my own vision a harmonious time. But you know what? The devil is already working in the higher systems. I gotta watch how I word this, and they already have an agenda for 2030 for a peaceful world. Okay, they're already at the same time God's doing things, the devil's working and mimicking, only he's leading you astray. Okay, so when they have a government thing for 2030 talking about all fossil fuels or whatever, this green whatever's going on with their switching, by putting more technology and science in, they're only further distracting us. So while it looks good, there are things you're missing here. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to be really on the right side of things to see clearly. And to judge somebody, you will be judged. And you don't want to be judged, from our Most High God. You want to be understanding and compassionate to people, and He will be understanding and compassionate to you. Okay, so it says, you will not be condemned, you will not be judged if you don't condemn and you don't judge. And that's the reason. And not only that, by you judging people and condemning others, you are living in a world where you're not happy within yourself. If you're out here talking about so and so for so and so doing this and just dogging people all the time, being caught up in drama, then you are not okay in yourself right now. And you will be punished for that in this time frame. You're going to be housing a lot of demons if you're sitting around worried about what everybody else is doing wrong when you should be worrying about you. And so you cause your own destruction there. And so it says forgive and you will be forgiving. And that's the main thing. You can't just, that's why if our Bible, Jesus Christ, our Bible says that the Holy Bible, it really pushes on the fact that if somebody's robbing you and takes your coat, you give them your shirt too. Because the thing is if you react and fight them, you're letting them demons in you. It's really a fine line. People don't understand spiritual warfare. Christians aren't teaching spiritual warfare and that demons get into people. They're not teaching how they should be. And so there's being the devil's everywhere. He's in our churches. He's in the Catholic churches. He's in, he's got his hand in everything, and he's trying to mix things. He'll try to mix the fact that, you're doing right spiritually because this is the way. He'll make a fine line and make you feel like you're doing right by Jesus Christ, but then lead you astray. So it's like right now is the time that it speaks to this in the Bible that even Christians and your preachers, I'm so sorry, your pastors will be led astray. And this is why. Because it's trickery all amongst us right now, and we have to discern. John 14:6, Jesus answered, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Okay, so in order to get to God, you have to go through Jesus. You have to speak to Jesus. You have to pray to Him. You have to have a relationship with Him. It's not just praying to Him when something bad is happening in your life. I don't think I would answer my phone if my kids only called me when they're having a bad day or when they want something. It's really important to establish a relationship. So whether you hear Him or not, give Him, I think that I would just totally ignore my kids and I'd be like, who are you? Why are you calling me only when you want something? It's not about that. It's about loving your Father. It's about loving and appreciating everything He's given to you and the blessings. And waking up, as this is a gift to even be here today. It's a gift to wake up, and all things goes to Jesus for coming here and sacrificing Himself so that we could stay. Literally talking His Father, God, into letting us continue life. That's powerful. Okay, I want to make an example here. A lot of people that follow me are like, yeah, 12:21, what's happening? We're going to switch realms. And, I've sent friends my videos. There's two videos in particular. The very last one I did, and it's called, I think it even says 12/21/2020 in it. And then the other one that the YouTube took off, it's on Rumble. The information and the link will be in the description box if you want to watch that video. But the thing is that I want you to realize almost like, okay, when I sent these two videos to my friends, they're like, yeah, they're so excited. Well, then when 12:21 passed, they're like, Lucretia, what's different? It's not, nothing's really better right now. What's different is the knowledge coming in, because just last year you wouldn't even be able to understand anything I'm saying in this video, okay? It's because you're changing. You're rising in frequency, you're rising in dimension. You're being prepared. You're being separated from everybody else right now. And that's what this conjunction helped to do, okay? But on top of that, I want you to go back on the two videos, because when you guys say to me, well, you said it was going to be good. I never said that. See, it's your perception of reality. That's you only hear the parts and the bits and pieces that your mind can comprehend. Now that this time has passed, watch those two videos again, and you'll pick up on the fact that I'm saying there's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of destruction. There's going to be a lot of things to come that we have to separate and prepare. I said, get food ready. I keep getting this thing about food. Separate from artificial things. Plant your own food. And rather it be we have a food crisis, or God's just saying, hey, this food ain't good for you. You got to eat my food. If you want the God energy, you eat God holy foods, because this stuff they're pouring into you is toxic, and it's taking you away from me. It's the pineal gland is calcifying. You are being led in destruction. You're going and eating out of the wrong hand. These stuff I mentioned is telling you. I never once said, hey, we're going to go to a new earth and everything's going to be different. No, I told you guys, look around you. Things may look the same. It depends on your level of mind frame. So now that you know this, what did 1221 do for you? It's allowing you to see that you can only see what your mind will let you see based on that perception in time. But now that that time's passed, you watch these two videos again, you're going to say, oh, now I understand what she was saying. So not everybody's going to understand the levels of growth in the same way. It takes time. And so I'm so glad I have those two videos out there, and I'm going to keep them there as long as they don't take them down, um, because I really want people to see that. You see one way and then time passes. So what did 1221 do for you? It expanded your consciousness is what it did. So I'm going to end this video with just letting you know that the devil really is putting strongholds on people. He's putting strongholds on God's people that are spiritual and rising and doing everything they feel like they need to do. He's still trying to come in, and there's always going to be, I don't care if you're on sixth dimension, you're going to have a new level, new devil, okay? And it's just part of it, and he's sly and he's trickery. And without the word and knowing that Bible and knowing it on a deep context, as I've broke down some verses here for you, you really have to know that Bible to understand and to, it's like a sword. And it really is. It's a sword of protection. And God says, put on your armor, put on your armor in times like this, your swords of armor, your your breastplate of righteousness. These are how he lists how to protect yourself from spiritual warfare in the Bible. And I may be do another video I do here soon, because as soon as I realized this, right after that, that's what came to me, is put on your spiritual armor. And just because in soul form I have a sword and a staff does not mean that you can't put on spiritual armor here. And that's by controlling your mind. It's by making sure you're right by Jesus. It's by knowing that word of that Bible. That's how you are protected, and that's how demons cannot enter you. And you have to live in being disciplined to him. So it might be that, a lot of people are like, well, God wants you to do this and this and this. And yeah, he wants you to do that so you can rise and so you could find him. Because if you don't follow in his ways, then you can't live in heaven, in his kingdom with him. So just because you believe in him doesn't mean you're going to heaven. Okay? So it's the time where he's crying, he's pouring his spirit out to all of us, and he's like, here. Not only do you, Lucretia, have this knowledge, but now Jack has this knowledge, and now Seth has this knowledge, now Lisa has this knowledge, now Mason has this knowledge. It's gonna keep coming, and he's gonna keep telling you, and whatever's on your heart that you don't understand, like, I'm gonna talk about Lisa at the moment. She's trying to work on her diet. We don't understand why we're getting these signals from God saying, get food, prepare yourself, eat the right food. We don't understand why. I can't tell you if there's going to be a food shortage. I can't tell you anything other than the fact that I now recognize that I have not been eating foods that are in alignment for my best self, for my higher good, for God. God, if I want to worship the God that I know through Jesus Christ, he does not want us eating these foods. So there's learning things, and it's going to keep coming because we are in the time of awakening. And I don't like to give years and numbers and dates. I have been shown things, and I don't want to put it out there because I don't do psychic readings. The fact is, the future is interchangeable. Anything under the realms of heaven, the heavenly realms, are interchangeable. They could be. It's based on you and what you need to grow, and you have to experience them in order to excel in your mind mentally. If I tell you where you're going in 6D and you're still not even out of 3D yet, there is no purpose for me to tell you how to get there because you're not going to get there. Okay? And the thing is always pray. But the thing is also, is what I'm trying to tell you is what I've been shown is a complete abomination by 2065. And to me, that can mean many things, but abomination means like disgrace. God's looking down at 2065. In that year, he's not liking what he's seeing. Okay? He hates it. That's what I got from that. Now, I'm just giving you what I was shown. You can take your own interpretation from that. I also got that within 2 years that we will all be, most people will be led in desolation and isolation. And what that tells me is, it could be many things. But it also could mean that within 2 years, because as in the Bible it says, when Jesus comes, your loved one you're sleeping next to will disappear, but another could be here. Two men are working in the field, one disappears, one's still there. Okay, so when this really goes down and God really comes to get his people, there ain't no raising vibration to the fifth dimension. It is, you are so done. You are either stuck here or you went as God's chosen people. And I know I want to go with God's chosen people. And in order to do that, he's showing me what I need changing in my life. Because I'm not ever going to house all the answers as God. And he gives me enough to get me to where I need to go so that way I can learn how to continue my journey. So telling you what's going to happen in 6D could be 5,100 lifetimes for you still. It could mean that you have to live many more times. It doesn't even, it's silly for psychics to even go there. And that's why I'm telling you, I don't like to give these numbers out, but for me to be shown in 2 years that we'll be in desolation and isolation, and my first thought of that was the pineal glands being closed. You're being stripped of your self-will. You're eating foods that have nanoparticles in there. I'm doing a video on this soon. You're breathing in toxic airs with nanoparticles in them. You're being reconstructed to be robotic. You're being stripped of will, and you cannot access God once you get this artificial. Okay, so I don't want to be robotic, and I'm listening to what my God tells me, and I'm going to do everything I can. And no, I'm not perfect, but I really believe in the visions I'm shown, and I'm shown them for a better good, and I want to help anyone that I can. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share. I'm going to be doing more videos like this, and I hope this finds everybody doing well. All right, God bless. Much love. Stay tuned.